Good evening, you're watching The Buck Stops Here and I'm Barkha Dutt. On the program this evening, till a few days ago, they were treating vitriolic charges. And today, it was time for Chai Pe Charcha between Arvind Kejriwal, his deputy Manish Sisodia and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Is dosti brewing? Or is this really a lull before the storm as opposition parties wonder whether there's a new opportunity for them to create an anti-Modi front after the AAP's landslide victory in Delhi? We'll be looking at whether the national impact has been overstated or understated after the Delhi verdict. That'll be a big political debate on the program tonight. Also coming up at 9:30 tonight, our newsmaker is the man tipped to be the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, journalist and politician Manish Sisodia. He's taking your questions and mine on how many promises that the Aam Aadmi Party made are viable.
हमारी लड़ाई किसी एक व्यक्ति से नहीं है, हमारी लड़ाई किसी एक पार्टी से भी नहीं है। एंटी बीजेपी या एंटी कांग्रेस या एंटी एक्स या एंटी वाई, ये कहना ठीक नहीं है। एक सिस्टम है जो चला रहा है देश में, जो सुनता नहीं है आम आदमी को इंसान नहीं समझता, वो सारे सिस्टम के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई।
All right, let's get started with our top story tonight. Those were unimaginable images till a year ago. Well, today, Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia and the Prime Minister had a cup of tea. The Aam Aadmi Party made a strong push for statehood. But other than that, it was all smiles and laughter for the cameras at least. On the program tonight, we ask, what's brewing at this Chai Pe Charcha? How come the Aam Aadmi Party is being careful to say that their politics is not against any one man, and that includes Narendra Modi, while the opposition is pinning all their hopes on creating a new anti-Modi front? We'll be asking tonight whether Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi are both practitioners of a new kind of politics, and whether the national impact of the Delhi verdict is being understated or overstated. Let's introduce our panel this evening. From the BJP, we're joined by Sambit Patra. From the Aam Aadmi Party, we're joined by Ashutosh, a prominent face and spokesperson of the party. From Mumbai tonight, we're joined by Kabir Bedi, very interesting voice because he's been both a supporter of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as endorsing Arvind Kejriwal before the results were out. And also from Mumbai today is Chetan Bhagat, author and columnist, who's been having his own unique experience of Twitter reactions for his political observations about both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. All right, we'll get started with you, Sambit Patra. How do we read the cup of tea this morning? Till a week ago, the Prime Minister was calling Arvind Kejriwal a Naxal, an anarchist. Your ministers were calling him a chor.
Barkha, a cup of tea, in fact, should be read just as a cup of tea. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that, in the sense that naturally this is the beauty of Indian democracy, where shifting of power takes place so graciously and so gorgeously. Gorgeously, I say, because, as you rightly pointed out, we were giving sound bites against each other only a few days ago. That's because that's how elections are fought in the country. We are supposed to expose our opponents, which we were rightfully doing. But once they got the mandate of the people, salute to the mandate of the people. The Prime Minister, who is a believer of federal structure of the country, who meets the Chief Ministers, met Mr. Arvind Kejriwal as well, as rightly you pointed out, over Chai Pe Charcha. They must have discussed several issues of Delhi, and the Prime Minister must have, as I gather, promised all kinds of cooperation to the would-be Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal.
All right, let me bring in Ashutosh now. Ashutosh, in the last 2 to 3 days, several important leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party have said our politics is to stop corruption, it's not to stop Narendra Modi. Yet Yogendra Yadav tweeted on the day of your landslide victory saying the Modi juggernaut has been halted. Is the Aam Aadmi Party confused about whether to be part of a larger anti-Modi front like other opposition leaders like Mamta Banerjee and Mulayam Singh Yadav are hoping you will be?
See, Barkha, the problem is that we try to view Aam Aadmi Party from the conventional point of view. Aam Aadmi Party is neither a traditional party nor a conventional party, so it should not be viewed from the conventional and the traditional point of view. Secondly, if any other leader would have got such a landslide, everybody would have thought that he will be the rallying point for the anti-BJPism or the anti-Modiism. We don't believe in neither anti-BJPism nor believe in anti-Congressism, or because we are anti-corruption and we are anti-corrupt establishment. The fact is that Aam Aadmi Party believes in that this victory of Aam Aadmi Party is not to have a great administration, not to have a great governance, because that is a condition which we should fulfill. It's a mandate to develop a model of alternate politics, clean politics and affordable politics, honest politics, and the politics of integrity. Okay. If we can develop that model in Delhi, probably we will be sending across a very strong signal at the national level, and the politics of India will change. And then the model which we will develop in Delhi will prove to be a turning point in Indian political history.
When you say
that should be the viewpoint.
But Ashutosh, when you say that we are not against or for Congress, we are not against or for BJP, we are not against or for Narendra Modi, we are only against corruption. Does that mean that if the BJP does not get caught up in a major corruption controversy, you could actually not necessarily see them as enemy number one, like many of the other opposition parties do? You know, you have the Mamtas, the Mulayams and the Nitish all looking to you now to replace the Congress in a way.
See, we are not here to replace anybody. We are here to replace the establishment. The establishment which has been created in the last 68 years. The establishment which has made Indian politics a dirty name. The establishment where to be a politician is an abuse. And where those who are on the margins of the society, they are not integrated into the mainstream of the development. If Aam Aadmi Party could present an alternate model of development, an alternate model of alternate politics, probably that will be our contribution. That's why I again say, and I really emphasize, that those are the people who think that will Aam Aadmi Party contest election in 6-7 states coming years or the following years?
Yeah.
My answer is that we are not thinking on those lines right now.
Okay.
Because the kind of mandate which we had, the kind of mandate which we got, now it's our responsibility to fulfill, because the people have voted for us, because they think here are the people who will change the course of Indian political history.
Okay, now I want to get the non-politicians.
That will be defining blind.
Okay, I want to get Chetan and Kabir Bedi in. Now, Chetan, one of the things you wrote on Twitter was that Aam Aadmi Party had appalling behavior then. You were talking about their last stint at power and deserved criticism. However, they deserve a clean slate now. Nothing more, nothing less, peace. My question to you is, Arvind, Kejriwal and Narendra Modi met over a cup of tea today. While in this election, Narendra Modi came across as the establishment man, whereas Arvind Kejriwal came across as the ordinary man taking on the establishment, do you believe that they both represent in different ways a shift in Indian politics?
Of course, I think the same energy, the same motivators have brought them both to power. In fact, there was that, and the same set of supporters like them both also, but now both of them have become opponents, because AAP needs to grow, and this can only be one. Arvind needs to grow and Modi needs to grow, and that's the way Arvind has decided to take on Modi. Otherwise, earlier days there was talk of AAP, BJP coming together to defeat the Congress, but now that's the lay of the land. I think Arvind is the primary opposition in the country today. I mean, whether we like it or not, or whether it's not a very formal opposition, because of the declining Congress today, Arvind is seen as the guy. AAP is, of course, the anti-corruption party element is still there, but it is also a party which is becoming the catch-all party of all anti-Modi vote. They are like, if you don't like Modi, people were like, what are you going to do? Vote Congress? But now it's like, no, you can vote AAP too. And that's a different reason to vote for AAP. Corruption may be one of them, but like you said, there's no corruption charge on the Modi government, which is very big also.
But
it's a very broad view.
Chetan, when you say, Chetan, when you say they're the primary opposition today, you just heard Ashutosh saying right now we're focusing on Delhi. What I'm struck by is that the Aam Aadmi Party seems less keen to occupy the place of the big anti-Modi party, and everybody else, the opposition parties, the media seems keener.
No, they do, Bharka. They of course do, and they are doing exactly what I had advised them in their first term, and that time they didn't like me saying it, that don't go so big on the Lok Sabha, grow selectively, focus on Delhi, manage Delhi, get experts from Singapore. Now they are doing the exact same thing. Of course, they didn't like it then, but now they will not. The very idea of putting a deputy CM, why do you think they've made a deputy CM? Because Arvind is needed to scale up the party across the country, so that they need a guy who has a title of deputy CM. So even if Arvind is missing, nobody can say Arvind is never in Delhi.
Let me get Ashutosh to respond to that.
Arvind needed to be CM because
that's an interesting question. Before I come to Kabir.
So that's fine, and there's nothing wrong in that.
Yeah. Ashutosh, respond to that. The fact that Manish Sisodia is going to be your Deputy Chief Minister means that Arvind is also needed to do things beyond Delhi. You may be saying we're focusing on Delhi, but you do have an eye perhaps on Punjab next.
See, let me tell you very frankly, that's a prerogative of the Chief Minister whom he wants a Deputy CM or what kind of a role he wants to assign to anybody. It will be not right on my part because I'm not part of the cabinet and neither I'm the Chief Minister. I'm the Delhi convener. So my responsibility is to see to it that organization continues to grow and continues to remain robust. It will be not right on my part to comment on what Mr. Arvind Kejriwal as a Chief Minister thinks about Mr. Manish Sisodia.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. Is Punjab the next state that the Aam Aadmi Party is eyeing?
See, let me tell you because we haven't thought about it. We haven't sat down and we discussed these issues because I think this is a big issue and everybody knows that the Punjab is the next breakthrough state for Aam Aadmi Party and we have 4 members of parliament from Punjab. So obviously this will be on our radar. But whether the party has taken a decision on this, not right now. Because only after the swearing in has happened, only Arvind Kejriwal and the team is settled in its chair. Probably only then the party will sit down and discuss these things.
Okay, before I take it back to Sambit Patra, Kabir Bedi, you're in a very interesting position to actually explain what some would say is a dualism in public response to both Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal. In one of your comments to me earlier, you said you support Prime Minister Modi, but then before the Delhi elections, you said you endorse Arvind Kejriwal. So as I understand it, you support both people and you don't necessarily see the Aam Aadmi Party as the main opposition emerging to the BJP.
Barka, I'm sure there are many people like me who are very happy to have Narendra Modi as Prime Minister of India and also very happy that Arvind Kejriwal has become Chief Minister of Delhi because nobody likes anybody to have a monopoly of power, most of all in a democracy. And so that feeling that, you know, we are winning every election, we are unstoppable, etc. There was a feeling in people that, you know, bring them down a peg or two. That's not the only reason for the AAP sweep in Delhi.
Yeah.
There are many others. There are many lessons that come out of this whole exercise because the bigger parties must realize that a people-centric movement that addresses genuinely the concerns of the people, that does groundwork, can be a potential threat to the established order. And the smaller parties must realize, like AAP itself, that they can't suddenly go national and become the chief opposition to the Modi government because they will spread themselves too thin too fast. They have to strategically do it city by city. And there's a good example of this. The five-star movement in Italy, which began 7 years ago, developed a huge following. They captured the town of Parma, showed good governance there, and in the last national elections, they got 25% of the vote as opposed to 27 and 26% that the two other major parties got. So they became a national force to reckon with after proving themselves at the local levels. I think AAP needs to bear that in mind.
Okay, Sambit Patra, when we talk about new politics, and you know, we're hearing a lot of this, that the Aam Aadmi Party represents a new politics. Narendra Modi in 2014 was also seen to reflect a new political grammar. Do you believe that the BJP needs a course correction in the fact that the same Modi who was lauded for being the chaiwala's son who rose to such heights was in this election seen as the elitist person with, you know, with expensive clothes and aloof power, and Arvind Kejriwal, with all the jokes about his muffler, was seen as the ordinary guy. Is that a problem confronting the BJP today, that the Prime Minister and your party is not seen as Aam Aadmi enough?
Not at all. First and foremost, let me tell you outrightly that this was not a referendum on the Prime Minister. Because I have been watching the media since the day Bharatiya Janata Party received the defeat, and you have attributed the defeat to several causes, including Kiran Bedi, including negative campaign and whatnot and what all. And they may be right, definitely will introspect. But if you say that these are the local factors which were responsible for the defeat, then naturally the issues were local and it was not national. And I would not like to bring in the Prime Minister over here. But with a caveat that he never wore costly suits and clothes, which has even been denounced by the newspaper which printed it. So let's not go to that suit bit. Now some few very important things. I mean, the debate's title is, does the course of Indian politics change?
Yes.
Now, Barkha, you have been an anchor since long and we all have adored you. Now, tell me, Barkha, when Mamta became the chief minister, when Nitish became the chief minister, when Abhishek became the chief minister, when Mayawati became the chief minister, throughout the day on the television, we used to watch with frenzy that a new kind of politics probably was coming to this country.
Okay.
When I remember when Mamta became the chief minister and she walked through the streets of Calcutta to Writers' Building, we said, well, yes, here is a new kind of dawn. A messiah has been born. And when Mayawati, who used to be an ordinary next door woman, suddenly rose to the fame of the chief minister, you all said, well, yes, the history would be written by none other.
Point? What's your point? What's your point, Sambit?
My point is, nothing is more powerful than time. Not even the Time magazine cover is more powerful than real time.
Okay.
Wait. Let us study what happened.
Okay.
Let me bring in Chetan. Let me bring in Chetan and then Ashutosh. Chetan.
Okay, Sambit.
Yeah.
Firstly, of course, I'm not advocating for AAP, and AAP does have a lot to prove, and I think Ashutosh is adopting the right strategy. Even if they want to grow, they cannot admit right now. They have to just focus on Delhi. But Sambit, I know you are a spokesperson, so you have to say this, but let me correct you on both counts, okay? Firstly, this was a disaster for the BJP. This election loss is huge. It is because it has cut the Modi wave. It was by the Modi, for the Modi. It is, you please read the Times of India on Sunday. It is the Saturday, the angriest column I've ever written. Please show it to your high command people. I don't want to monopolize the weight. But please don't think it was local issues. There are things that are going wrong and they can be corrected. It's not like nobody is perfect, okay? But they can be corrected. And the second thing, you are giving examples of other chief ministers and comparing him to Kejriwal. Again, I hope that's not what you guys believe in your hearts, because it's completely different. Those guys won on vote bank politics. Those guys represented a regional identity in many cases. Arvind's model is very scalable. He does not do that. And also, he appeals to the English speaking classes. He appeals to the poor classes. None of those guys had that kind of a broad-based appeal. Mayawati was never endearing to the English media, for instance, but Arvind is. So please be careful. Please do not underestimate what this force will be. They can do self-goals, and they have. So that's, but don't count on that. You guys need to change. You have been put there for a job. AAP has been put there for a job. You guys need to respond to people.
Sambit, one line, then Ashutosh.
Definitely. When good things come from an eminent person like Chetan Bhagat, we should take it positively and we should definitely introspect and we should try to improve. There is nothing good than accepting that, well, yes, it has been a disaster and there must be reasons, umpteen number of reasons for this disaster. Not accepting this would amount to arrogance. And Chetan, I tell you, we will learn, we will rebound back, and we will give you enough reasons to smile as you were smiling in the yesterdays as well.
Okay, now I want to ask Ashutosh, because obviously if there are learnings for the BJP, there have been learnings for the Aam Aadmi Party as well. Ashutosh, Arvind warned against ahankar. The first comments he made after the landslide was ki ahankar nahi hona chahiye. Now my question to you is, there are already concerns. You're in a state without an opposition. You're 67, the opposition has 3 MLAs. One is that. The second is that a lot of your own supporters are worried that this time the Aam Aadmi Party has lowered some of its standards. You took in some candidates that, for example, Prashant Bhushan was not very happy with. 17 of your candidates were from other parties previously. How are you going to avoid playing politics as usual?
See, the two things. One, you rightly talked about that there is hardly any opposition in the Delhi Assembly. But let me tell you one thing, that today the expectation of the people, the expectation of the people is the biggest opposition of Aam Aadmi Party. That's why Arvind Kejriwal has said it's scary. 67 is a scary number. If we had got 37, 37, 38, 40, probably would have been much more comfortable, because people had so much hope and so much expectation, so much aspirations, that they will want things to be delivered in no time. And that's the biggest lesson which BJP should get in its defeat in Delhi. And Aam Aadmi Party should also learn a lesson from that, that if in 9 months' time BJP can see such a disaster, maybe if we don't scale up our things, if we don't deliver, then probably the same thing we will face in 9 months' time.
That's a very interesting point. Yeah, go ahead, complete your point. Ashutosh.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that this time, if you compare Aam Aadmi Party government this time with the 49 days government, I'm very fond of saying this, that the 49 days government was version 1.0. This is version 2.0.
Yeah.
You will find much more a different Arvind Kejriwal, a different Aam Aadmi Party, and working in a very, very different ambience. and probably we are more mature. Probably we have learnt our lessons in a right way, and that's why it will be very, very interesting for us and for others to watch out.
I do agree. I think all of us who observed you do see a 2.0 version of both Arvind and the Aam Aadmi Party. Kabir Bedi and Chetan Bhagat, I have a very interesting question for both of you. Do you find similarities in Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi? I'll start with you, Kabir.
I definitely do. I think Arvind Kejriwal galvanized Delhi in the same way that Narendra Modi galvanized the whole of India. Narendra Modi made an old party seem new, and Arvind Kejriwal has made a new party seem mature and reassuring and tested. So people had more faith in it. There was more reassuring. There are differences of style in both of them, but the fact of the matter is both of them have created a new stamp on their parties. One has created a new party, the other has made a new party look, an old party look new. So each of them has done something quite remarkable in Indian politics, which is why I'm very happy to see Narendra Modi at the centre as Prime Minister and very happy to see Kejriwal as the Chief Minister of Delhi.
Chetan, I'll put the same question to you.
Well, yes, they're both dynamic, they're great orators. I would say Modi before the Lok Sabha election and Kejriwal now is very comparable. Modi ji recently with how he's been flying high a little bit, I'm not so sure. But I'm sure we'll get that same Modi back pretty soon. But I'm just saying there is a lot of similarity. They both have a lot of passion in them. They both can connect. They both adapt very fast. They're very dynamic politicians, getting sense of what's going on, and they change very, very fast. The one difference I do feel is that perhaps Arvind is a little more hands-on and a little more grassroots, whereas Mr. Modi is more of a manager. At the same time, Mr. Modi understands business and wealth creation way better than Arvind right now. So,
okay.
I mean, and that's just my personal view, so obviously.
Okay, 30 seconds to both.
But we need both, and let me tell you one thing. AAP will grow, but it will, even in the best case scenario for AAP, it will take 10 years. It's the best case. The future of India is in Narendra Modi's hands.
Okay, that's a provocative statement.
With all the great intentions of AAP. So
Interesting.
that is, right now, the mandate is with the BJP.
Okay.
We have a stable government, and we have to support this government and make sure they deliver the goals. AAP is great, it is growing, it's very interesting media story, but in the best case scenario also 10 years later they'll be at that level where they can even think of being a national alternative, maybe 20 years.
Okay, I'm out of time. 30 seconds to both Sambit and Ashutosh. Sambit, you go.
See, you were comparing Narendra Modi with Arvind Kejriwal. I mean, ironically, Chetan says that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is more grounded than Modi. I would say no. Just contrary to it, Modi is a man of organization. Arvind Kejriwal is an individual. Mr. Modi has worked at places where one cannot imagine, and over a period of time, he has become what he is today.
Okay.
Secondly, one is a man of time. He has passed his life over the time and he has become Modi, and he has seen what time can do. Other is a man of just the present time, as it is, as was put by Chetan, the time for media. Media is enjoying having Arvind Kejriwal
I'm going to give the last word to Ashutosh. Ashutosh, 30 seconds.
I know Samit has been very subtly criticizing Arvind Kejriwal, but I'm not getting into that.
I
just want to tell you
and to the with all respect to him,
who has been watching NDTV 24/7, that it's very good that we had to go through the drill. The last 8 months drill has been, I'll say it was very, very difficult time, tough times, but very fantastic, because we learned so many things. We learned so many things.
Yeah.
And if we had not gone through this drill, probably we would have been, I'll say, in a disadvantageous position. Since we had gone through that drill, now we are in a better place, where we have better understanding, and we are much mature.
Well, a fascinating phase in Indian politics, no matter which party you support and who you back. And guess what? Rahul Gandhi doesn't even figure in political debates anymore, not even the name. So that should tell you something. Chetan Bhagat, Kabir Bedi, Ashutosh, Sambit Patra, thank you so much for joining us on the Buck Stops here. On the other side, the man tipped to be the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, is joining us next. He's taking your questions and mine. What's next for the Aam Aadmi Party? Will you go national?
अरविंद केजरीवाल इस वक्त अपना पूरा ध्यान दिल्ली की सरकार को चलाने पर केंद्रित करना चाहते हैं, और वो चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली में जो हमने एक सपना देखा है हम सब लोगों ने, दिल्ली के लोगों ने, उसको हम सब लोग मिलकर अपनी सरकार के माध्यम से सच करें।